I want to talk about your attitude, okay? Now, I think a lot of us have an intuitive understanding about what an attitude actually is, but I don't think most people know what the specific definition, at least the psychology science definition of an attitude is. And I think it's actually worth talking about. In psychology, an attitude is defined as a predisposition to respond, a learned predisposition to respond in a certain way to a certain type of situation or person or idea or other stimulus. And interestingly, many of our attitudes, our predispositions to respond, are actually unconscious. And I'll give you a real life example because this actually happened to me. Apparently, when I was a really little kid, when I was like 3 years old, I was bitten by a dog when I was out one day with my dad. And apparently for years after that, as a child, I was afraid of dogs. And when a dog would walk past us on the sidewalk, I would have this type of a reaction. I was averse to dogs. And it wasn't until I got to be a teenager or really an adult that I actually started to love dogs again. So it didn't matter which dog it was, even if it wasn't that same dog that bit me, even if it was a perfectly nice dog, this prior experience that I had with that one dog influenced my future experiences with other dogs because my brain started to categorize dogs as being in the same category as the ones that bit me. So I was walking around with this learned predisposition to respond in a certain way to a certain type of stimulus, in that case, to all dogs. And I had to unlearn that response. So I'm curious, because many of us are walking around with unconscious attitudes. What attitudes are you walking around with? What unconscious predispositions are you walking around with that you'd want to question?